Right. So just as the microeconomics was introduced many years ago or many days ago, it is said that when you're studying microeconomics, follow this nicely. The main things that you study are the consumers, the consumers. You have the markets here, and then you also have got the producers this side. You have the producers, these are firms. So the producers, the consumers are meeting the producers at the markets, and they are forced by the forces of what they are demanding, the forces of demand. And then we also have got the producers that should meet the consumers or their customers, especially guided by the forces of supply. Right. So this is the summary of the entire microeconomics, actually. So you are basically studying the consumers, that is under consumer theory, the behavior of the customers, the behavior of the consumers, how do they actually behave? That's what we do under consumer behavior. We'll look at the aspect of the levels or the ways of measuring their levels of satisfaction, okay? Their levels of satisfaction, their levels of utility, as you might want to use the term. So when you're just looking at those things, that is the consumer theory. So you are studying the behavior of consumers and trying to understand them and how they make the decisions, especially that pertain to what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. Then at the same time, on the other hand, you have got the producers. These producers are the firms, right? The firms are there to produce the goods and services. So as they are producing these goods and the services, they are guided by the forces of supply. So they supply the goods, and as they supply these goods, they don't come direct to the consumers. They supply these goods at the markets, right? It is actually at the markets where they supply these consumers. So now the thing is that the markets are very important because that's where the consumers and the producers meet for transactions. So by definition, we can say a market is a well-arranged structure or mechanism that brings together the producers and consumers for transactions, the buyers and sellers, so that they can trade. So it's actually that well-arranged mechanism that is called a market. So in microeconomics, you start the producers, you start the consumers, you start the producers. You also have to study these forces that guide them, the forces of demand guiding the consumers, forces of supply guiding the producers. Then you have to study the markets. That's where they meet for transaction. So since you have done all those, okay, studying the producers, because you start things such as production theory, and cost theory, the cost of production, different types of of the markets. And this is what we are doing right now. We want to look at the different types of the market structures where these consumers and producers meet for transaction. Did you get the introduction?
Yes.
Hello, did you get the introduction?
Yes, I did.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, and actually that is that in itself is the summary of the entire microeconomics. I've summarized microeconomics for you, like in those few words. That's the whole thing we're talking about in microeconomics. Those people majoring in microeconomics, that major in economics, they're going to do economics again, right? That is called intermediate micro in second year somewhere. There are those who are majoring again in third year, they'll still do the other one, microeconomics, which is in third year, which is called advanced microeconomics, right? So in all these years, the main things that they'll be talking about are these that I've commented or that I have shown you. Is that clear? So that's the summary. If you are to summarize microeconomics for someone in a few lines or few words, you can say microeconomics is about studying the individual economic units as they answer questions of what to produce, how to produce, and why to produce, for whom to produce. Usually, you study the producers, you also study the consumers, and you study the places, which are the markets, where they meet for transactions. That is the summary of the course. Right. We have summarized the course. Let's start now. Having summarized the course, we can start with the market structures. What is it that we look at? Okay. So there are different types of the market structures, okay, that we have. We have the perfect competition market structure, which is actually the market structure in which there are many firms. There is actually a freedom of entry to the industry. All firms produce identical products, and all firms are price takers. These are the characteristics of the perfect competition market, the first type of the market, right? Here, there are many firms. It's a type of a market where you have so many companies that are operating in the market. And in that market type, people can freely enter and freely leave. There are no barriers to entry or to exit. So everyone who wants to sell, the meaning is that everyone who wants to sell, who wants to enter that market, they can easily just enter. Even those that are no longer interested, that want to leave, they can easily leave. That's the kind of the market structure that we are talking about. Then all firms actually, they produce identical, this is key. The products that they produce here are the same. They are identical, right? And the firms under here, they are price takers, meaning they don't have power over price. They cannot decide how much to charge. Instead, the market itself, the forces of demand and supply decide, sets the price. Then they just go there to take the price. For example, when you are, let's talk about those people that are selling tomato, those people that usually sell tomato in those markets. When you go, you see, you may not really need to have a lot of restrictions to the, to get a lot of documentation to start selling tomato. Just go there, get, and join them, and you are selling, right? Now, imagine this kind of a market where people are seated, they're selling tomato. This tomato, when you look at it, is of the same quality, same everything. Then this one says, no, my tomato. Everyone is charging a 2 kwacha, for example, 1 tomato. Then someone says, no, I charge 5 kwacha because my tomato is high quality. And people can see, because the assumption is that in this kind of the market, the perfect competition, there is also the perfect or symmetric information distribution. When you mean the information is symmetric or symmetrically distributed, what we are saying is that what the producers know and what the buyers, the consumers know is equal, is the same. That person who is selling what they are selling, right? It is what they know, those who are selling, is exactly the same as what they know, those who are buying, especially that pertains to the product that is being sold, right? Then we say that the information is actually symmetric. So that is the type of the market that we are talking about here. Perfect competition. Many people can just enter. It is called perfect competition market structure. Any question? Is there any question on perfect competition? People are not responding today. Okay.
No question.
It's okay. It's fine. It's clear.
Okay, thank you. We go to the monopoly market. With the monopoly, this is a market structure where there is only one firm in the industry, okay? This is as opposed now to the perfect competition. Here there is only one firm, one company operating in that market. So these, unlike the perfect competition, these, they have power over price. They are not price takers. They are price setters. They set the prices, okay? They set the prices, and actually there are barriers to entry here. There are barriers to entry in such kind of the industry, because you don't just wake up and start joining that industry where there is only one person or the monopoly. And after the barriers to entry, we know that the goods that they are producing can just be unique in its own kind, and they sell to, like, there are many buyers, right? There are many buyers. Almost everyone is just buying from the monopoly. Okay, that's the kind of a firm that we're talking. That's a kind of the market structure. We just have one producer who does everything. Okay, Mr. Stula, I can't see the presentation being shared. Is it the same with everyone? Hello, can you see the screen?
Me, I can see it.
Okay, maybe you can log out, or it's now visible. Okay, all right, thank you. So that's about the monopoly market, right? Only one buyer and only one seller, right? One market operating does everything. Practically, anyone to give us a practical example of a Zambian industry where there is only one firm? Examples of monopolies in Zambia. Give us one. You can choose one and give us one. There is no competition, it's just alone. Give us an example of a firm that is under monopoly. Hello? Or Zesco. Yes. So Mr. Stula has said Zesco. Yeah, if you look at Zesco, does Zesco have any competition? There should be no competition, isn't it? They're the only ones supplying us with power here in the country. And when you look at the way how Zesco is, a person cannot just wake up, or a company cannot just be said to say it shall be a competitor of Zesco, right? They don't just, you can't just go, because there are barriers to entry, right? Such as the patent. The government, there are those patents that you can buy from the government, where the government protects you as a company, that you will be the only one. So even the registrar of companies will never register any company that does exactly the same thing that you are doing, and there will be no company doing that same. So you don't have any competition. That's what happens with the monopoly. Thank you for that one. Do we have any other?
Let's say maybe Ziali also, because I think that's you have to pass through there, like all like before you become a lawyer, you have to pass through Ziali. So I don't think there's another place where you have to go to become a registered lawyer.
Okay, wow. I've liked that one. I'd never thought about it. And yeah, look at Ziali. If there was an alternative for Ziali, we would have been going, isn't it? People would have been going. But there is no alternative to Ziali. Everywhere you can go, you can just come back to Ziali, right? That's what usually happens. Okay. Any other example? Do we have any other? Okay, so we can cite even examples of no, institutions like PACRA, isn't it? PACRA is alone in Zambia. Do we have an alternative to PACRA? There's no alternative, right? Do we have any? I might be missing out on some information. All right. So you find that the firm is just, in short, it's operating alone in the market. Maybe the key things to look out for as you are listening to this presentation, for the exam purposes, know the characteristics, okay? The characteristics of these markets. Yeah. Because these are just principles of microeconomics. So know the characteristics of each market, which characteristics falls under which market. Then there should be the part of drawing the graphs, where you should understand the graphs, okay, of these market structures. Like if a firm is operating in a monopoly or in a perfect competition, how are the graphs like when it is making more profit or when it is making losses? For the purposes of an exam, we need to know that, to know the graphs, a little bit of some equations, just a few of them, and then that's all. These are the main points, like focal points, things that you should focus on as you're doing that. So right now we are still on the characteristics. Very important to get the characteristics. Clear? Okay. We look at the other one. This one is the monopolistic competition, which is a market structure where it's more like a perfect competition. There are many firms. There is also freedom of entry and freedom of exit in the industry. But each firm, this is the distinguishing factor. Each firm produces differentiated products. So it has the control over the price. Now, listen, mostly those exams that you may write, especially online, you might have more of the multiple choice questions. I'm just saying, for example. So if you don't understand properly these concepts, this is where people miss it now. What is the most distinguishing factor between the perfect competition and the monopolistic? The only distinguishing factor is that under monopolistic, they produce the differentiated goods or products, okay? Then here they produce identical products. The products are the same under perfect competition, but when you go to the monopolistic, the products are differentiated. Could you give us an example of the differentiated products in Zambia? Anyone to give us the differentiated products? One example. Hello? Differentiated products. Like the product has got maybe one name, it is just in different types. Okay, that's like, I'd say different, more like brands of kind of, it's the same uses, but just packaged maybe differently. Okay, that's the differentiation we're talking about. Any example? Hello? Okay.
Yeah.
You know the yes, madam.
No. It's wrong, maybe.
No, just say it. We will determine together. Sorry? You can come again.
No, let it slide. I think it's wrong.
Have confidence in the answer. Okay, do we have any other? Okay. The sir should be there to give the first example. Okay. You're not like that class which says the sir should give the first example. All right, you've heard of these washing powders, like the washing powders. What brands do we have on the washing powders? Hello. You know the brands that we have? We have, I give you the first one is Bullet. What else do you know?
Boom.
There's Boom. There's Bullet Boom. What is there?
I think there's also Action.
Action.
Yes. I don't know if it's still there, but
Action. What else? Yeah. So you also have Aloha.
Sunlight.
The what?
Sunlight.
Sunlight.
Yes.
Oh, okay, that one. Sunlight. Then there's also what? What else? There's that one. Anyway, I have forgotten others, but you have gotten the idea. So you can give now your own examples. Differentiated products. Give me one.
So maybe we would say there's maybe, let's say Parmalat.
Maybe I can try.
Yes, sir. Yes, Mr. Shola. Give us an example.
Yeah, so I thought the madam was still speaking, but anyway. So let's talk about bread, for example. So bread, you have different companies that are making bread. So you can have things like white bread, brown bread, there's vegan bread. So they are all on the market. So those are some examples that I could give.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Madam, you can come back now. Which one did you want to give? On differentiated goods.
Maybe let's say we'll go maybe to daily products like milk, sour. So we've got Parmalat, we've got milk by Zambeef. Is it?
Okay, interesting. Thank you so much. So all those are differentiated products. So I just wanted to get an idea of what kind of market this whole is. So you find that these people who work in such markets, like these firms who operate in such a market, they have power over price. Okay, they have control over price because they are masters of their own brand. For example, the Aloha guys who set their price, Aloha is this much, right? Okay, then we also have oligopoly, which is a market structure where they are.
Before you proceed.
Yes, sir.
Did we give examples of the perfect market? Especially the identical products, because I'm seeing differentiated, and if you have to mention identical products.
Okay. We asked the people any examples of it, because identical simply means similar product. They're just doing the same. What example can we give there? It's the same. I gave you an example of those people selling tomato, right? Where you can even see the quality and everything, like it's the same, right? That's the example that I gave as an example. Do we have some more examples? Such a kind of a market, the person can just wake up and do today. And it's usually difficult for you to argue that no, mine is different, because we have said that information is symmetric, so which means you don't even need to tell the buyer that no, yours is different. Like they know that what you are doing is the same with what everyone else is doing. What example can we give thereof? Hello? There are no barriers to entry. You can just wake up today and start doing. No registrations, or like you start suffering about, just start. What example do you give? Hello?
Yeah, maybe a very basic one at our level. Look at people who are on the market. Most people are doing chickens. This one has a chicken run, the other one has a chicken run. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
same things. Let's look up also another example, the maize market, for example.
Yeah, exactly.
That's another just very basic example that maybe I would think of. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, I'd not thought about those. Those are really good examples. So yeah, you cannot say my broilers. Those broilers are different from what others are doing. Or you may not say my maize is is different. You understand? Like it's something visible, people can see. Okay. Is the questionnaire fine?
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. So oligopoly market structure is where there are few enough firms to enable barriers to entry action. So there are few firms here. It's not like the perfect and the oligo or monopolistic. So under oligopoly, we just have few firms, maybe one, not one, of course, one is monopoly. Maybe 2, 3, 4, firms, few firms. Could you give an example of such a market in Zambia? Hello? An example of such markets in Zambia? Think about one. One market. We just have maybe 3, 4, 5, or 2 firms. No need of many, like, yeah.
Maybe Airtel.
Oh, okay. Thank you. The telecommunication networks, isn't it? Those
Yeah.
how do you call them? Telecommunication, whatever. Those companies.
Yeah.
Like they have just been Airtel, Zamtel, and
MTN.
MTN. Do we have the fourth one? I might be backward. Like I might not have much information. Do we have the fourth one? And you remember sometime the Vodafone guys had come. Are they still there? Those guys that come. There was a few years ago. The people were, there was that company which almost came. They wanted to have their own brand, and yeah. So in general, what you see is that when you have the oligopoly market, there are just 3. For example, in our case, we just have 3 firms, and those markets, they make decisions, okay, and their decisions actually influence the pricing, how they price their services. just a few of them. You can't just wake up and say you are going to compete today with the Airtel. So there are some kind of barriers that have been set. Okay, that was a good example. Do we have any other example of such a market in our midst? In Zambia, apart from the Airtel, MTN.
Maybe the car industry in Zambia.
The car industry, or how many do we have?
With that, maybe.
Oh, we have which one are the ones, the brands do we have in Zambia? I know you have Toyota. What else do you have?
Yeah, I'm looking at the companies that are trading in brand new vehicles in
Wow.
Zambia.
Ah,
Okay.
sorry, it's not Toyota.
Oh, like give us examples. Maybe I'm saying what you are not saying. For example. Hello. Is there an example of those companies in Zambia that we can see? There are just a few of them. Because maybe of the barriers to entry that we have. Okay, so you can see that, yeah, just like the way Harry said, the car ones, there are some barriers to entry. And one of the barriers actually could be, apart from the patents, it could be the capital that is needed to just enter that industry. You might need even you know, huge sums of money. And so people don't just go. Then what could be the other one?
The Zambia breweries.
The
It
breweries.
falls under which industry?
Like Zambia breweries. What do you mean?
Yes. Like Coca-Cola. Do we have so many? I don't know. But industries like that.
Like Zambia breweries.
Hmm.
Which one is the friend? Kai, there should be more than one. Which one is the counterpart?
I don't know.
Okay. Hello? Yes, sir. Okay. So we have that. Do we have any other? Okay. Okay, think of the mining companies, right? The mining companies as well, they may not just be many, okay, because of obviously the legalities there. Like there are a lot of requirements that are needed for you to enter into that industry. And obviously you also need a lot of money. So there are those barriers that can really prevent many people from entering those markets. You got it?
What of
Yes.
the shoe industry? We have the Zamshu and Bata.
Oh, the shoe industry. There is the Zamshu, yes, and Bata. Don't we have any other? There are just two of them. Are they just
think
two?
of any other. I think there are two.
Is it true that no one can wake up today and set up a brand? Is it difficult to enter that industry, really?
I think it is.
Okay. If it is difficult because maybe there are rules, regulations are around, there are main papers, people have to sign a lot of paperwork, a lot of requirements, they have to pay patent, then it can qualify. All right. So when you say the competition is imperfect, it means that you are using the collective name for monopolistic competition, oligopoly competition. So the majority of the firms in the real world, actually, they operate under imperfect competition, right? Okay. Now, what are some of the factors that actually determine the degree of the market power of the firm? Actually, it is, so the type of the market structure is determined by the degree of competition between the individual firms, okay, such as the number of firms in the industry that we already talked about, the freedom of entry in the industry, the nature of the product that they are producing, is it differentiated or is it homogeneous? The degree of control over the price, do they have power over the price or they do not have power over price, right? Now, here are some of the assumptions that underpin perfect competitions, right? Number one, since each firm has a tiny fraction of the market, so all firms are price takers. To start with, they are all price takers. They take the price as dictated by the forces of demand and supply. There is actually complete freedom of entry in the industry, and the firms, they produce homogeneous products. So there is perfect knowledge in the market that I already did say that the information is actually symmetric in this market. These are some of the assumptions that underpin such a market. Now, when it comes to the issue of determining the price or output and the profits in the perfect competition market, you will understand that it's some kind of difficult because they don't have power over price. So as they decide on what to produce, the only way how they can increase on production is to do what? Is to increase the quantities, isn't it? How they can maximize the profit. They have to do more of quantities. But you know that sometimes, mostly, when you increase quantity, the quantities produced, even the costs does increase too. So these firms that operate under perfect competition, they usually do that. They usually just produce more. They maximize by trying to produce as much as they can, right? Because the price is fixed. They do not have power over price. So the firms, they face a perfectly elastic demand curve. That is a horizontal demand curve. For the perfect competition, the demand curve is horizontal, right? And usually the demand is equal to the average revenue. It is also equal to the marginal revenue. Get that one? So the demand curve is horizontal for the perfect competition. The average revenue is also equal to the marginal revenue at the same time. For that is for the firms operating in the perfect competition market. Okay. So in the short run, perfect competition, the market that is under perfect competition usually is said to operate or to be in the short run, which is actually the period during which there is at least, too little time for few firms to enter the market. That's when you say that we are in the short run. Like there is too short time, because what happens is that after some time has passed, many firms will start joining in the industry, okay? You might be alone, but as others start seeing that you are making profit by doing that, so others will want to enter into that same market and start doing exactly the same things that you're doing, even maybe doing it better. So many firms will start coming into that industry until the industry is even flooded. And that is what usually happens. So in the short run, this is when we say there are still few firms. The firms are still new in the industry and we have few of them. But with passage of time, that is now in the long run. Many firms will come. As a result, firms will not make abnormal profit in the short what? In the long run. Okay. Let's look at the graph of the profit maximizing firm in the short run. Very important to get this one. How do you draw? Maybe what you should pay attention is how drawing and seeing how it is very important, because some questions will ask you to draw. How do you draw? How do you show graphically the firm that is maximizing profit in the short run, of course, under perfect competition? So the first thing that you draw are the axis, then you draw the demand curve, which is actually equal to average revenue. It is also equal to marginal revenue. That's the first step. You've gotten this one. Then you draw the marginal costs. Draw the marginal cost. Now, average revenue and marginal revenue and demand, they are equal to the price. That is in the perfect competition market. They are just in the same line, they are equal. So now there is this point at which marginal cost is equal to the price, or marginal cost is equal to marginal revenue. We're saying that there is this point where marginal cost is equal to the marginal revenue. It is at this point where the quantity that maximizes profit is located. So you can, if you produce at that quantity, then you can manage to maximize the profit as the firm that is in the perfect competition market in the short run. So a profit is maximized at a point where marginal revenue is equal to the marginal cost. At that point where marginal revenue is equal to the marginal cost, is a point at which profit can be maximized. Right. Then you draw the average cost, the average total cost curve. Now the average total cost curve, it's here. It cuts the marginal revenue at it cuts the marginal cost cuts the average cost at its minimum. Get that one, I'll repeat. The marginal costs, right? The marginal cost cuts the average revenue at its minimum, meaning at the point where it is like the minimum point of a curve where it is down here. That's where it cuts it, okay? Because the average cost is actually usually U-shaped. So that's what usually happens. So now, how do you determine which one is the profit maximizing the profit itself? So just draw a line just below the average, that is just tangential to the average cost. And this region, or this region, is representing the what? The abnormal profit. This one is the region that is representing abnormal profit, or the profit. It's abnormal, right? Why is it called abnormal? Because this revenue, the average revenue here, this line for average revenue, it's actually greater than what? The average cost. So the revenue is higher than the cost. So at that point, you make what? Abnormal profit. As a firm in the perfect competition market, it is called abnormal profit because that profit, you can only make it when you are still exploiting people. You're still alone. There are still not many other people to join you in the market. Is that clear? Okay. Then now, after you have the profit maximizing output, you have seen the profit maximizing output, then there is also this this graph that is showing the firm which is making losses. Okay, this is a perfect competition firm. it is making losses. So how do you show the one that is making losses? First, you draw the axis like this. Then you draw the demand curve. That shall be equal to the average revenue, and it shall be equal to the marginal revenue, right? Then you will draw the marginal costs, as usual, marginal costs. And after that, then you are going to draw the average total cost. You've seen the average total cost is above there. Then there is also this one, average variable cost. There is this point where marginal revenue is equal to average revenue, this one. This is where the output is there, which maximizes profit. So now, this region, when you draw this line, extend it up to here. This region, I've shaded in blue. It's a region that is representing the what? The loss. So there is a firm in under perfect competition maximizing a loss. So this is the graphical representation of that firm. So you can present that using the graph. This is the graph. Okay, that's how you do the graph. Is that clear? Oh, I'm logged out. People are no longer answering. And hello?
It's clear.
Okay. So this is the firm that is maximizing losses. Why do we say that it is maximizing losses? Because look, the average cost is now greater than what? Average revenue, right? So the average cost curve is above, way above the average revenue one. Is that clear? So that's when you make losses. Now, in the long run, a market under perfect competition, in the long run, it shall not make abnormal profits. No. Why? Because there will be new firms that will enter. Okay. And as the new firms will enter, that will lead to an increase in the supply. Supply will increase. So supply will do what? Will increase in the long run because the new firms have entered. As a result, because of the increase in supply, then the prices will do what? Will fall. The prices of the goods will start falling until these people can no longer make abnormal profit. You have seen this. This is the graphical presentation of what is happening in the long run under the perfect competition market. We're saying that. So you can see that this is in the industry, okay? When this is in the industry, in the short run or in the long run, supply has what? Has increased, isn't it? First, you have price one. Okay, check here. You have price one, cut here first. You have price one and the supply one and the demand one. This is in the first, like in the short run. Then in the long run, supply has what? Has increased. Many firms have entered the industry. So the supply curve has shifted to the what? To the right. You know, when the supply has increased, the supply curve shifts to the right. So when the supply curve has shifted to the right, check what is happening. The price falls because there is too much supply. There are too many of those goods. There are many firms to produce. So the prices start falling what? Falling down. As the prices fall down, check what happens. The average cost becomes tangential to the what? To the average revenue. Saying that the average revenue is now equal to the average what? Cost. So at this point, this average cost is now equal to the average revenue here. Because they are now equal, then we say that the firm is no longer maximizing the what? Maximizing the profit or losses. No, in the long run, it is making normal profit. This is called the normal profit, not abnormal profit. It is making normal profit in the long run. So there is no firm under perfect competition in the long run that can make abnormal profit. No, it will just make normal profit where average revenue shall equal average costs. Hello? Is that clear?
Yes, it is.
Do I have a question from anyone?
Perhaps maybe just the demand curve. Perhaps maybe if you can just shed more light, why is it shaped the way it is shaped in this particular graphs?
Why is it horizontal?
The demand curve.
Or this in the industry?
Yes.
Is it the one in?
Yes, in the industry.
Okay. The demand curve is downward sloping, or because there is a negative relationship between supply, between demand and what, and price, isn't it? Between the price and the quantity demanded, there is that law of demand. So it is peaking here. Don't worry about curving. Is the question about curving or about the way how it is, about it sloping downward? Is the question about the difference between this one and that one? Like, why is it curving or is it straight? Or yeah, maybe I have not gotten the question correctly. Hello? Hello, are you able to hear me?
I'm able to hear you.
Okay. He was asking me the question, why is it, I don't know if the question is about why is it downward sloping or why is it curving? Because it's downward sloping, of course, it's downward sloping because of the negative relationship between quantity demanded and price. That's the first reasoning. But if the question is about the curve, the curve has no meaning, like curving has no meaning actually. It's just a way of, it's just the way how the presenter presented in the notes. Otherwise, just take it as with the one that is straight. It has, yeah, there is no meaning on it bending like that. Similar in the supply curve, even if it's straight like that, it's straight like this, it's still the same as it curving. So there is no meaning in the curving. I hope that helps. Okay. That's about what's this? The perfect competition. We have depicted it graphically. I've shown it, yeah, how it is done graphically. I should be able to, okay, just a minute.